So good day, everyone. In our group, we will be tackling about the role of discipline in learner-centered classrooms. And that is the group 2. Now, this will be our topic for our presentation. The first one will be a collaborative class norms, logical consequences, consistent application. This is supposed to be student specific. There is no O in between. This is student specific, and time for resolution, and of course, calm spaces.
I'll be discussing the first subtopic, the collaborative class norms. As we all know, norms, they are authoritative standard rules, model, and expectations. They are the foundation of the respectful behavior among all in the school community. And norms will not create a positive school culture if they are just simply hung on a poster in the classroom or teacher's room, because they need to be discussed and used daily to guide interactions and behavior. And we all should remember that norms are not list of rules or bad behaviors to avoid, but they are list of the positive environment they want to live in. For the practical examples, we can use collaborative class norms through a sequence of open-ended questions between the students and teachers, and they can co-create classroom behavioral norms. And if you're going to create class norms, it should be concise, kid-friendly, and appropriate to all class members. And as I said earlier, class norms should be discussed daily. So how does collaborative class norms enhance the students' learning? It embodies the essence of self-discipline. Students can recognize and value their participation in the process of regulating themselves in their classroom. It also helps to enrich the relationship between the students and the teachers, and the students will feel that they are being surrounded by a healthy and safe environment.
For my topic, I will be discussing about the logical consequences. There are 3 types of logical consequences. The first one is you break it, you fixed it. The second one is the loss of privilege. The third one is time out or take a break. So in you break it, you fix it, the students will take some responsibility for fixing as the best they can, especially in any problem or mess they have created by themselves. For example, if a student hurt the feeling of another, the student will participate in an apology of action. Example to that is through writing a letter or a note that includes in any friendly activity. So in the loss of privileges, in the classroom in which the children helps generate and construct the rules together, they do share a sense of responsibility. I they s- they sense of shared responsibility that truly exists when students do not take care of the rules. The logical consequences to that will be, of course, the loss of the privileges. Example, if a student speaks cruelly to the teacher, so the teacher's action, the teacher that the teacher acted as if she or he or she refuses to listen to that certain student until the student changes his or her tone of voice when it comes to interacting with the teacher. That is the loss of privilege. Now, time out or take a break. So, making rash decisions or actions, especially in the classroom in the heat of the moment, may lead to more serious consequences. For example, to that is if a student who is on the verge of losing control and beginning to disrupt and disturb their own and others' ability to learn is automatically asked to leave the scene or the classroom in order for them to take a break. The student may return when he or she appears to have regained control of his or her senses and is ready to participate in the classroom in a positive way. So all in all, the logical consequences, the students will inevitably break or ignore or forget the rules that help to create, and as educators, it is our responsibility to enforce discipline on the children in our care. However, administering punishment may remind us of being reprimanded in a way that felt dismissive, unsafe, and unsupportive. That avoiding discipline can be also equally damaging. The students have a fantastic opportunity to learn that their actions have consequences, even if the consequences of poor decisions are relatively minor. So for the next topic, I will also be discussing about the consistent application. So in consistent application, there are three ways that you can be consistent. Before that, why do you need to be consistent? Because as educators, we need to make sure that with our rules, our consequences, and our reinforcement are still intact. The student is succeed in predictable and just the environments. They get angry just the same as we do, and when they think they aren't being treated fairly or being acknowledged. So the first one is do what you say you are going to do. So a consistent teacher does what they say and they are going to do it every time. I repeat, a consistent teacher does what they say and they are going to do it every time. Do what you say you are going to do. The second one is plan and follow the regular routines. It is a big part of a consistency in teaching that it is in your daily routines by following your plans and regular routines. The third one is always be predictable in your emotional response. Why is this important? Because as educators, we need to always calm down whenever any situation arises or whenever something in the classroom is not good on what is really happening. So that is for the consistent application.
Next is the student-specific or other term student-centered discipline. Student-centered discipline, it involves engaging students as decision makers and problem solvers. So not just the teachers as the decision makers and problem solvers, but also the students. So in this process, it cultivates and maintains trusting relationships. So in this process, we cultivate the trusting relationships with the students and respectful of students with one another. And it helps students understand their impact on others or their influence to others, and it builds empathy or their understanding to others' feeling, and they would fix or repair harm they may have caused.
Now, there are strategies for teachers in learning and developing student centered discipline. It includes having discussions and providing students with opportunities to provide input and feedback on classroom routines, procedures, and community agreements. And also providing strategies for students to monitor and regulate their behavior and emotions, and this is the classroom management. And also providing tools for students to problem solve, work through conflicts, and repair harm. And so teaching and modeling self-reflection is also included, and responding consistently and fairly when classroom shared agreements are breached, but also understanding students' individual needs and the root causes of behavior. And it is the student-centered discipline.
Good afternoon, everyone. So for the 3.3.5, time for resolutions. So conflict resolutions in the classroom. Handling conflict resolutions in the classroom is a real part of our jobs as teachers. So as teachers, we invest a lot of time setting up a safe learning environment for our students. So here is a simple 4-step process that we can teach that will work effectively for most conflicts. So for the step 1, call up. It's hard to solve a problem that when you're emotional charged. Sometimes the best thing we can do is to give the students involved the space to take a breath and calm down before bringing them together to tackle a conflict. And for the step 2, communicate. It's only fair that both or all parties involved get a chance to tell their sides of the story without being interrupted. So students switch places and the speakers become the listener and the listener becomes the speaker. And for the step 3, brainstorm solutions. So once both or all students have had a chance to tell their sides of the story, they need to work together to figure out what that will make things better. When little ones, you may need to provide options for them to choose from. Once a choice is made, make sure they both or all understand and agree. And for the step 4 is follow up. So once students agree on the solutions, it's important for you to keep an eye on the situations. You also want to provide a supportive check-in after a little time has passed. So this helps to hold students accountable to their promises and reinforce the process.
So, for my next part, I'm going to talk about calming space. So what is calming space? A calming space is an area where a student go to relax, refocus, and recenter. The purpose for a calming space is for when someone needs some quiet time and who feels stressed out or overwhelmed over their studies, and a calm space might be able to help them. Remember that a calming space is not a place for punishment. It's a place for relax, refocus, and recenter. So here are some examples of how we can apply this calming space. Number 1, a calming space can be a place for students to be sent for academic breaks or when they are breaking down in classroom. Number 2, calming space also provide a space for students to go for peer interaction so they can return fresh to their classroom in a better state to learn, which also will help teachers not to burn out. Number 3, this sensory supportive environment will provide tools to help students to better understand their behavior and also refocus. That's all for my sharing today. I hope I hope you'll be able to learn something from my presentation. Thank you.
So this is our references. And lastly, this is our IFBL. It can be found in Proverbs 22 verse 6. It says, "Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." So our topic is about the role of discipline in learner-centered classrooms. So for us as teachers, for us to discipline our students, we need to train our students for them to be disciplined. And so when they grow old, they won't depart from what we taught to them. So this is group 2. That would be all. Thank you.